my dad is right, it is my culture to help my family financially. I am stuck in middle of both worlds, my family and Forrest as well.
Well, it's just concerning for us because you're going to be in a relationship with her dad, make accommodations to the dad, and I'm worried.
The air in the room snapped like a rubber band the second Sheena's secret hit the table. 1 minute, everyone's pretending to enjoy the food, and the next, Sheena's voice is trembling as she admits the truth. Her parents never stole her money. She gave it to them willingly, and they promised to pay her back. Forrest's fork freezes mid-air, Molly's jaw drops, and you can almost hear the sound of trust shattering. The silence is so thick you could slice it with a butter knife. Molly's face flushes red, her eyes darting between Sheena and Forrest, searching for some explanation that makes sense, but all she finds is panic. Forrest looks like he's just been told gravity doesn't exist. He's blinking, trying to process how the woman he loves could hide something so big, and why his own mother is suddenly glaring at him like he's the one who wrote the check. Sheena's hands are shaking, her eyes darting to the door, as if she's calculating the fastest escape route. This isn't just a family dinner gone wrong. This is a full-blown detonation, and the fallout is about to get ugly. You're watching Reality Sport. I'm Oliva, and if you think this is wild, you haven't seen anything yet. Hit subscribe, drop your hottest take in the comments, and buckle up, because tonight, Sheena's bank account is the hottest property on reality TV. The question isn't just who gets the money, it's who gets to decide what Sheena does with her own life. Is it her family, who raised her with the belief that supporting your parents is a duty, not a choice? Is it Forrest, who thought he was marrying into a partnership, not a financial tug-of-war? Or is it Molly, who's convinced she's the only one with Sheena's best interests at heart, even if her version of best means total control? The tension at the table is electric. Molly's voice cuts through the silence, sharp and cold, demanding answers. She wants to know why Sheena lied, why Forrest didn't see it coming, and what else they're hiding. Forrest tries to defend Sheena, but his words stumble out, half-formed and uncertain. He wants to believe this is just a misunderstanding, that love can fix anything, but the look on Molly's face says otherwise. Sheena's apology is barely a whisper, her eyes fixed on her plate, but nobody's listening. The real conversation is happening in the glances, the clenched fists, the way Forrest's shoulders slump as he realizes nothing will ever be the same. What's at stake isn't just a few $1,000s. It's Sheena's independence, Forrest's trust, Molly's sense of control, and a family's entire way of life. Every person at that table thinks they know what's best for Sheena, but nobody's asking what Sheena wants. The battle lines are drawn, and the first shot has been fired. The only thing certain is that nobody's walking away from this dinner unchanged. And as the plates are cleared and the tension lingers, one question hangs in the air, heavier than any secret. Who will Sheena choose when everyone wants a piece of her future? Long before Sheena ever met Forrest, her life was shaped by a different kind of contract, one written in family duty, not legal ink. Growing up in the Philippines, Sheena learned early that family isn't just important, it's everything. When money comes in, it doesn't stay in your own pocket for long. It flows to parents, siblings, cousins, anyone who needs it, because that's what love looks like where she's from. Her father's voice still echoes in her head, reminding her that success means lifting everyone up, not just yourself. Every holiday, every birthday, every phone call home is a reminder that her paycheck is more than her own. It's the safety net for the people who raised her. There's pride in that, but also pressure, a weight that never quite lifts, no matter how far she travels. Now, sitting across from Forrest and Molly, Sheena feels that weight pressing down harder than ever. Forrest grew up with a different rulebook. In his world, adulthood means cutting the cord, standing on your own, and keeping your money separate. Independence isn't just a goal, it's a badge of honor. Molly's made it clear she expects her son to marry a partner, not a provider for someone else's family. She sees Sheena's remittances as a red flag, a sign that her loyalty is divided, her priorities suspect. To Molly, money given to parents is money taken from her own future grandchildren, her own family line. She doesn't say it out loud, but the message is clear. You can't serve two masters. Sheena's caught in the crossfire, desperate to make everyone happy, but every choice feels like a betrayal. If she keeps sending money home, Forrest and Molly see her as disloyal, maybe even dishonest. If she stops, her family will wonder if America changed her, if she's forgotten where she came from. She tries to explain, her voice trembling, that she loves Forrest, but she can't turn her back on her parents. She wants to build a life with him, but not at the cost of abandoning the people who sacrificed everything for her. The more she tries to bridge the gap, the wider it seems to grow. The room feels smaller every time this conversation comes up, as if the walls are closing in. Forrest and Molly want clear boundaries, but Sheena's life has never fit into neat boxes. She's living proof that love and loyalty don't always play by the same rules. What happens when neither side is willing to bend? When every compromise feels like losing a piece of yourself? The answer isn't clear, but one thing is, Sheena's running out of room to keep everyone happy, and the next move could break more than just hearts. Molly's eyes never leave Forrest, not even for a second, as if she's waiting for him to crack under the pressure. She's convinced she's the only one who truly understands her son, and she's not shy about letting everyone know it. In front of Sheena, she brings up Forrest's autism, not as a point of empathy, but as a weapon. She tells Forrest that his trusting nature makes him vulnerable, that he can't always see when someone's taking advantage of him. The words hang in the air, heavy and sharp, and you can see Forrest shrink a little, unsure if he should defend himself or just accept his mother's version of reality. Molly's tone is gentle, but her message is clear. Trust is a weakness, and Sheena is a risk. Forrest, for his part, clings to hope like it's a life raft. He wants to believe that love is enough, that Sheena's mistakes are just bumps in the road, not red flags. He tells Molly that Sheena is changing, that she's promised to stop sending money home, that things will be different now. But Molly isn't buying it. She's seen too many promises broken, too many secrets kept. She's convinced that Sheena's loyalty will always be divided, and she's determined to protect her son, even if it means driving a wedge between him and the woman he loves. Across town, Sheena's dad is having a very different conversation with his daughter. He doesn't care about Molly's suspicions or Forrest's optimism. For him, the issue is simple. Family comes first. Always. He reminds Sheena that supporting her parents isn't just tradition, it's her duty. He tells her that Forrest should accept her for who she is, culture and all, or walk away. There's no room for negotiation, no space for compromise. Sheena nods, torn between guilt and obligation, knowing that whatever she chooses, someone will be disappointed. But while everyone is busy staking their claim on Sheena's future, something else is brewing beneath the surface. There's a plan forming, a secret that could change everything. Not everyone at the table is playing by the same rules, and the next move might come from the person nobody expects. The question isn't just who will win this power struggle, it's what they're willing to risk to get what they want. And as the tension builds, it's clear that the real game is only just beginning. Forrest sits on the edge of his seat, heart pounding, rehearsing the words he's been dying to say. He's convinced that proposing to Sheena will fix everything, that a ring will erase the doubts and silence the critics. But Molly's voice cuts through his daydream like a cold wind, reminding him of every lie, every secret, every reason to hesitate. She doesn't trust Sheena, and she's not afraid to say it. She warns Forrest that marriage isn't a magic solution, that trust once broken is hard to rebuild, and that love doesn't pay the bills. Forrest tries to push back, insisting that Sheena is changing, that she's promised to put their relationship first, but Molly's skepticism is relentless. She's seen too much, and she's not about to let her son walk into a trap. Meanwhile, Sheena's dad is drawing his own line in the sand. He listens to Forrest's promises, his talk of shared futures and joint accounts, and shakes his head. In his eyes, Forrest hasn't earned the right to share anything, least of all Sheena's hard-earned money. He tells Sheena, in no uncertain terms, that her money is her own, and that Forrest has no claim to it until he proves himself. No shared accounts, no access, no exceptions. It's a rule born of experience, a shield against disappointment, and Sheena knows better than to argue. She nods, but her eyes are full of worry. She wants to build a life with Forrest, but not at the cost of betraying her family's trust. Caught between two immovable forces, Sheena scrambles for a solution. She offers a compromise so desperate it almost sounds absurd. She'll send Forrest and Molly weekly screenshots of her bank statements, proof that she's not hiding anything, proof that she's trustworthy. The words taste bitter in her mouth, but she's out of options. Forrest latches onto the idea, eager for any sign of progress, but Molly's face is unreadable. Sheena's dad is silent for a long moment before he finally nods, accepting the compromise with a heavy heart. It's not what anyone wanted, but it's the only way forward. The table is quiet, the tension thick, as everyone tries to convince themselves this uneasy truce will hold. But trust built on surveillance is a fragile thing, and nobody knows how long it will last. As Sheena sends the first screenshot, her hands trembling, the question lingers, is this the start of a new chapter, or just another countdown to the next explosion? Steam rises from the hot water, scented with flowers and herbs, but there's nothing relaxing about this family spa day. Sheena tries to smile, tries to play the perfect host, but her nerves are stretched thin. Every time she glances at Molly, she finds those sharp eyes tracking her, dissecting every gesture, every word, every forced laugh. Molly soaks in the tub, but her mind is working overtime, cataloging every detail for later. Sheena feels exposed, like she's under a microscope, and the pressure is almost unbearable. She wants to enjoy this moment with Forrest and her family, but the tension is a constant reminder that nothing is normal anymore. Forrest sits beside her, but he's not the same man who arrived in the Philippines full of hope. Molly's doubts have taken root, and now every small thing Sheena does seems suspicious. Did she look at her phone too long? Did she whisper something to her sister? Forrest's mind races with questions he never used to ask. He wants to trust Sheena, but Molly's voice echoes in his head, warning him not to be naive. The more he tries to relax, the more he finds himself watching Sheena, searching for signs of another secret. Sheena senses the shift, and her heart sinks. She knows she's losing him, one doubt at a time. The spa day was supposed to be a gesture of goodwill, a way to bring everyone together, but instead, it's become a silent battleground. Sheena's dad tries to keep the mood light, cracking jokes and pouring tea, but even he can feel the undercurrent of suspicion. Sheena's sister gives her a sympathetic look, but there's nothing she can say to make this easier. Every smile feels forced, every conversation stilted. The air is thick with things left unsaid. As the day drags on, Sheena's anxiety grows. She wonders if she'll ever be able to win Molly over, or if she's doomed to be judged no matter what she does. Forrest's silence is louder than any argument, and Sheena can feel the distance growing between them. She tries to hold on to hope, but it's slipping through her fingers. What nobody knows is that the balance of power is about to shift in a way nobody saw coming, and the next move will leave everyone reeling. The morning sun creeps through the curtains, but it does nothing to warm the chill that's settled over Sheena's family home. The laughter and small talk from the night before have vanished, replaced by a heavy silence that clings to every corner of the house. Forrest and Molly move quietly as they pack their bags, careful not to disturb the uneasy peace. Molly's lips are pressed into a thin line, her eyes scanning the room for any sign of trouble, while Forrest keeps his head down, lost in thought. Sheena stands in the hallway, watching them, her heart pounding with dread. She knows this isn't how things were supposed to end, but she can't see a way to fix it. Downstairs, Sheena's dad waits, arms crossed, his face set in stone. He's been up for hours, replaying every word, every look, every promise made and broken. When Forrest and Molly finally appear, he doesn't waste time on pleasantries. He looks Forrest straight in the eye and lays it out. No sugarcoating, no room for misunderstanding. If Forrest wants to be part of this family, he needs to prove it, not with words, but with action. He tells Forrest that Sheena deserves a partner who can stand on his own 2 feet, someone who can provide, protect, and respect her independence. The message is clear. Step up or step out. There's no middle ground, no more second chances. Forrest nods, swallowing hard, but his words sound hollow even to his own ears. He promises he'll take care of Sheena, that he'll find a job, that he'll do whatever it takes to make things right. But everyone in the room can feel the gap between what he says and what he's actually done. Molly jumps in, trying to smooth things over, insisting that Forrest is a good man, that he just needs time. But Sheena's dad isn't interested in excuses. He's seen too many men make promises they can't keep, and he's not about to let his daughter become another cautionary tale. Sheena stands frozen, caught between the 2 worlds that have always defined her. She wants to believe in Forrest, to trust that love is enough, but her father's words hit home. She knows what it means to struggle, to sacrifice, to put family first. She's worked too hard to let anyone take that away from her. At the same time, she can't ignore the hope she feels when she looks at Forrest, the dream of building something new, something that belongs to her alone. The choice feels impossible, and the weight of it threatens to crush her. As the final bags are loaded into the car, Sheena's dad pulls her aside for one last conversation. His voice is softer now, but the message is the same. He tells her that no matter what she decides, she'll always have a place in this family. But he also warns her not to lose herself in someone else's expectations. He reminds her that love should lift you up, not hold you back, and that she deserves a partner who sees her as an equal, not a bank account. Sheena nods, tears stinging her eyes, grateful for his support but terrified of what comes next. Forrest waits by the car, fidgeting with his keys, his mind racing. He wants to believe he can be the man Sheena needs, but doubt gnaws at him. He's never felt so out of place, so powerless. Molly stands beside him, her arm around his shoulders, whispering reassurances, but even she can't hide her worry. She spent the whole trip trying to protect her son, but now she wonders if she's made things worse. She looks at Sheena, searching for some sign that things will be okay, but all she sees is uncertainty. The drive away from Sheena's house is silent, each mile stretching the distance between what was and what might be. Forrest stares out the window, replaying every conversation, every argument, every moment he let fear or pride get in the way. He wants to call Sheena, to tell her he's sorry, to promise he'll do better, but the words stick in his throat. Molly tries to fill the silence with small talk, but her heart isn't in it. She knows this isn't over, not by a long shot. Back at the house, Sheena sits with her family, her mind spinning. She wonders if she made the right choice, if there even was a right choice to make. Her father's words echo in her ears, but so do Forrest's promises. She wants to believe in both, but she knows she can't have it all. The future feels like a blank page, and she's terrified to write the first word. As the day drags on, Sheena finds herself replaying every moment, searching for clues, for signs, for anything that might help her decide. She thinks about the sacrifices her parents made, the dreams she shared with Forrest, the life she wants to build. She wonders if love is enough to bridge the gap between 2 worlds, or if some differences are just too big to overcome. The question hangs in the air, unanswered and urgent. Will Sheena choose her family, the people who shaped her, or will she risk everything for a chance at something new with Forrest? The answer isn't clear, but one thing is certain. Whatever she decides, nothing will ever be the same. And as the sun sets on a day filled with heartbreak and hope, everyone is left waiting for Sheena's next move, knowing that the fallout from this decision will echo far beyond the walls of her family home. Forrest stands in the middle of Sheena's living room, clutching his phone like it's a lifeline. His voice shaky but determined as he brings up the idea of a shared bank account again. He talks about trust, about building a future together, about how couples should have nothing to hide. But the words ring hollow, especially when everyone in the room knows he doesn't have a steady job, doesn't have savings, doesn't have anything to contribute except promises. Sheena listens, her face unreadable, while her father's jaw tightens with every sentence. The silence that follows is thick, uncomfortable, and Forrest tries to fill it with more talk about partnership and transparency. But it only makes things worse. He doesn't see the irony in asking for access to Sheena's money when he's never had to send a single dollar home, never had to choose between his own needs and his family's survival. Molly, never one to stay quiet for long, jumps in to back up her son. She insists that a shared account is normal, that it's what married couples do, that it's about building trust. But her words are laced with something sharper, a warning aimed at Sheena's dad. She accuses him of being too controlling, of meddling in his daughter's relationship, of holding Sheena back from her own happiness. The hypocrisy is almost laughable. Molly has spent the entire trip trying to dictate every detail of Forrest and Sheena's future, from their finances to their living arrangements, but now she's painting herself as the voice of freedom and progress. Sheena's dad doesn't rise to the bait. He simply shakes his head, his disappointment clear, and tells Molly that protecting his daughter isn't control, it's love. He says Forrest needs to prove he can stand on his own before he asks to share anything. Sheena feels the walls closing in. Every conversation about money turns into a tug of war, with her caught in the middle, forced to justify every decision, every dollar. The weekly bank statement screenshots have become a ritual, a constant reminder that nobody trusts her to make her own choices. She scrolls through her messages, seeing the requests for proof, the questions about every withdrawal, every transfer. It's exhausting, humiliating, and she can feel herself reaching a breaking point. She wants to scream, to tell everyone to back off, to remind them that she's an adult, that she's earned the right to decide what to do with her own money. But the words get stuck, drowned out by the fear of disappointing the people she loves. Forrest doesn't notice the pain in her eyes. He's too busy trying to convince himself that this is normal, that this is what couples do. He talks about building a life together, about how sharing everything will bring them closer, but Sheena can't help but wonder if he's more interested in her bank balance than her heart. Molly keeps pushing, insisting that Sheena's dad is the real problem, that he's the one standing in the way of happiness. But Sheena knows the truth. She's the one being pulled in every direction, forced to choose between loyalty and love, between her past and her future. The tension in the room is suffocating, and Sheena feels herself slipping away, losing sight of who she is and what she wants. She wonders how much longer she can keep this up, how many more compromises she'll have to make before there's nothing left of her own dreams. The pressure is building, and everyone can sense that something has to give. What nobody expects is that the next move won't come from Forrest or Molly or even Sheena's dad. There's a twist coming, one that will turn everything upside down and force everyone to confront the truth about what they're really fighting for. The game is about to change, and nobody is ready for what happens next. Sheena stands in the kitchen, her hands gripping the edge of the counter so tightly her knuckles turn white. The house is quiet except for the low hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of traffic outside. But inside her chest, her heart is pounding so loud she wonders if Forrest and Molly can hear it from the next room. She spent weeks trying to keep the peace, trying to be the perfect daughter, the perfect girlfriend, the perfect bridge between two worlds that refuse to meet in the middle. But tonight, something inside her snaps. She's tired of being the one who bends, the one who explains, the one who apologizes for wanting to help her family and build a future at the same time. She's tired of feeling like her life is a negotiation, her love a transaction, her worth measured in bank statements and receipts. She calls Forrest and Molly into the kitchen, her voice steady but her eyes shining with unshed tears. They come, Forrest looking worried, Molly looking defensive, both of them bracing for another round of the same old argument. But Sheena doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't plead or bargain. She just tells the truth, plain and raw, letting the words fall between them like stones. She says she's done living under a microscope, done sending screenshots, done feeling like she has to prove her loyalty every single day. She says she loves Forrest, but she can't keep sacrificing her own happiness to make everyone else comfortable. She says she's proud of where she comes from, proud of the way her family supports each other, and she won't apologize for that anymore. Forrest tries to interrupt, but Sheena holds up a hand, stopping him cold. She tells him she knows he's scared, knows he wants to believe that sharing everything will make their relationship stronger. But she can't ignore the way it makes her feel. Small, untrusted, invisible. She says she needs a partner, not a warden. Someone who believes in her, not someone who needs constant proof. She looks at Molly, her voice trembling now, and says she understands that Molly wants to protect her son. But she's not the enemy. She's not here to take advantage, not here to steal or deceive. She's here because she loves Forrest. But she can't keep living like this. The words hang in the air, heavy and final, and for a moment, nobody moves. Then Molly's face crumples, her bravado slipping away as she realizes how much pain she's caused. She tries to explain, her voice breaking, that she only wanted to keep Forrest safe, that she's seen too many people get hurt, that she didn't know how else to help. She says she's sorry, but the apology feels too late. Too small. Forrest stands frozen, his eyes wide, his mouth opening and closing as he tries to find the right words. He wants to say he understands, wants to say he's sorry, but all he can manage is a choked whisper, "I didn't know." Sheena's tears finally spill over, but she doesn't look away. She tells Forrest that love isn't about control, isn't about keeping score, isn't about making someone feel less than. She says she needs to know that he trusts her, really trusts her. Not because of a bank statement or a promise, but because of who she is. She says she's willing to fight for their relationship, but only if he's willing to fight for her, not just for his own comfort. She says she can't keep living in fear of disappointing everyone, can't keep splitting herself in two to make everyone else happy. Forrest's shoulders slump, and for the first time, he looks at Sheena not as someone who owes him something, but as someone he's let down. He admits he's been scared of losing her, scared of being left behind, scared of not being enough. He says he thought sharing everything would make them closer, but now he sees how much it's hurt her. He says he's sorry, really sorry, and he means it. He says he wants to do better, wants to be better, but he doesn't know how. He asks Sheena what she needs, what she wants, and for the first time, he listens. Molly wipes her eyes, her voice small, and says she never meant to make Sheena feel like an outsider. She says she's been so focused on protecting Forrest that she forgot he's an adult, that he can make his own choices, that love means letting go, not holding on tighter. She says she's willing to step back, willing to trust that Forrest knows what's best for him, willing to give Sheena a chance. The three of them stand in the kitchen, the weight of months of tension pressing down on them, but something has shifted. The air feels lighter, the silence less threatening. Sheena takes a deep breath, feeling the first stirrings of hope. She says she needs boundaries, real boundaries, not just for her own sake, but for everyone's. She says she'll keep supporting her family, but she won't hide it, won't apologize for it, won't let anyone make her feel ashamed. She says she wants to build a future with Forrest, but only if it's a partnership, not a power struggle. Forrest nods, tears in his eyes, and says he understands. He says he wants to be the man Sheena deserves, wants to earn her trust, not demand it. He says he's willing to work, willing to prove himself, willing to let go of the need to control. Molly nods too, her face softening, and says she'll try to be less protective, more supportive, more open. But as the night wears on and the conversation winds down, a new question takes root in Sheena's mind. She's said her piece, drawn her line in the sand, but will anyone respect it? Will Forrest and Molly really change, or will old habits creep back in when things get tough? Sheena knows this isn't the end of the story, just the beginning of a new chapter. She wonders if she's strong enough to hold her ground, to keep fighting for herself, even when it means standing alone. The answer isn't clear, but for the first time in a long time, Sheena feels like she has a choice. And as she looks at Forrest and Molly, she knows the next move is hers. Sheena wakes up to a quiet house, the kind of silence that feels like a clean slate. The weight in her chest is still there, but it's different now. Less like a burden, more like a reminder of everything she survived. She moves through her morning routine with a new steadiness, her mind replaying the words she spoke the night before. For the first time in months, she feels like she's living her own life, not just reacting to everyone else's demands. She knows what she has to do, and she's ready to do it on her own terms. Sheena sits down at the kitchen table, her phone in hand, and dials Forrest. Her voice is calm, but there's a firmness he's never heard before. She tells him she loves him, but she can't keep living in a relationship built on fear and suspicion. She says she's willing to keep building a future together, but only if he respects her boundaries. No more bank statement screenshots, no more questions about every dollar, no more letting other people's opinions dictate their choices. She says she'll always support her family, and if he can't accept that, then maybe they're not meant to be. The line goes quiet, and for a moment, Sheena wonders if she's lost him for good. Forrest listens, his heart pounding, the reality of Sheena's words sinking in. He realizes that for all his talk about partnership, he's never really treated Sheena as an equal. He's let his own insecurities and his mother's fears cloud his judgment, and now he's paying the price. He tells Sheena he understands, that he wants to try again, but this time on her terms. He says he'll get a job, start contributing, and focus on building trust instead of demanding it. He promises to talk to Molly, to set boundaries with her too, and to put Sheena first. Sheena listens, her heart aching with hope and doubt, but she knows this is the only way forward. Molly, for her part, is forced to confront the consequences of her actions. She sees the pain in Forrest's eyes, the distance growing between them, and realizes she's been holding on too tightly. She sits down with Forrest, her voice softer than he's ever heard it, and apologizes for not trusting him to make his own choices. She says she wants him to be happy, even if it means letting go. She promises to step back, to support him from a distance, and to give Sheena a real chance. Forrest nods, grateful but wary, knowing that change won't happen overnight. Sheena's family gathers around the table that evening, the air thick with anticipation. Sheena tells them about her decision, her voice steady and clear. She says she'll keep supporting them, but she won't let anyone use her love as leverage. She says she's proud of her roots, proud of the sacrifices they've all made, but she needs space to build her own life too. Her father listens, his eyes shining with pride and sadness, and tells her he understands. He says he wants her to be happy, to find her own path, and that he'll always be there for her, no matter what. Her mother hugs her, whispering that she's strong, that she's brave, that she's doing the right thing. The days that follow are quieter, but not empty. Sheena and Forrest talk more honestly than they ever have, sharing fears and dreams without judgment. Forrest starts looking for work, determined to prove himself, not just to Sheena, but to himself. Molly keeps her distance, checking in with Forrest but letting him lead. Sheena feels the shift, the slow rebuilding of trust, and lets herself hope that maybe, just maybe, things can be different. But growth isn't always easy, and old habits die hard. There are moments when Forrest slips, when Molly's old anxieties flare up, when Sheena feels the pull of guilt and obligation. But each time, she remembers the promise she made to herself, to stand her ground, to speak her truth, to choose her own happiness. She learns to say no, to ask for what she needs, to forgive herself when she falters. She sees the change in Forrest too. The way he listens now, the way he tries, the way he lets her lead sometimes. It's not perfect, but it's real. Sheena's family notices the difference too. Her father watches her with new respect, her mother beams with pride, her siblings tease her gently but support her fiercely. They see that she's not turning her back on them, just finding a way to carry them with her without losing herself. The balance is delicate, but it's hers to manage now, and that makes all the difference. As the weeks pass, Sheena feels herself growing stronger, more confident, more at peace. She knows there will be challenges ahead, money troubles, cultural clashes, the ever-present pressure to please everyone. But she also knows she's not alone. Not anymore. She has Forrest, she has her family, and most importantly, she has herself. One evening, as Sheena and Forrest sit together watching the sunset, Forrest turns to her and asks what she wants their future to look like. She smiles, feeling the weight of the past lift just a little, and says she wants a life built on trust, respect, and love. A life where they both get to choose. Together. Forrest nods, taking her hand, and for the first time, Sheena believes it's possible. But as the camera pans out, a new message pops up on Sheena's phone. A reminder that peace never lasts long in this world. There's a new challenge on the horizon. A new test of loyalty and love, and Sheena knows she'll have to fight for her happiness all over again. If you thought this story was over, think again. The next chapter is about to begin, and you won't want to miss what happens when old secrets come knocking and new drama explodes.